And joining me now is Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming. He's, of course, the chair of the Senate Republican Conference. Senator Barrasso, welcome back to Meet the Press. And before I get into politics, I always like, when I have you on, you're a medical doctor as well. And I got to ask you, I want you to respond to something Governor Jim Justice said. We had it a little bit earlier in the show, but let me play it again for our viewers and for your ears. Take a listen.
I don't know really what the big rush to get rid of the mask is, because these masks have saved a lot of lives.
Now, your home state, you guys aren't getting rid of it yet. And so I know that there's quite a few have thought, hey, you can open business and have a mask mandate. Why is that so difficult, you think, for some members of your party, particularly the governor of Texas, that hey, let's open up, but let's wear a mask?
Well, first, Chuck, as a doctor, I will tell you, I am very optimistic about where we are with Operation Warp Speed. 3 vaccines that we're vaccinating 2 million people a day, everybody vaccinated by May. This is dramatic. It is very, very impressive from a medical standpoint. Also from a medical standpoint, we know these lockdowns have been terrible for people all around the country in terms of depression, suicide. We need the country open. We need kids back in school every day with a mask, without a mask. We know how to stay safe. We know what we need to do. Get vaccinated. It's time to get America fully open again.
Are you worried, though, when you get rid of a mask mandate that it sends the wrong message? You know, it's one thing to open up, and I get open up businesses. Just wear a mask. That if you tell people don't wear a mask, then they're not going to take any precautions.
Well, people need to take precautions. I have my mask with me right here. I'm going to continue to wear a mask, and I think people will use good judgment to do so.
All right, let's talk about the COVID relief bill. Obviously, your party was in unified opposition. But according to polling, there's anywhere from 30 to 40% of Republicans, like many of the proposals in this bill, have been in favor of it. That doesn't seem to match unified opposition, and I understand that you want unity there. But are you worried that you're looking out of touch with some of your voters?
No, when people find out what's in this bill, they're going to lose a lot of any enthusiasm they may have for it right now, because this was not really about coronavirus in terms of the spending. This was a liberal wish list of liberal spending, just basically filled with pork. It didn't need to be this way. We've passed 5 bipartisan coronavirus relief bills already. Every Republican voted against it, but also some Democrats voted against it. Joe Biden in his inaugural address said, I want to work together with you. We can work together. 10 Republicans went to the White House and said, all right, let's work together. Instead, the White House chief of staff said, this is the most progressive piece of domestic legislation in a generation. Mm-hmm. This was never about getting people back to work or kids back to school or the disease behind us. That's where it should have been focused.
I want to be curious about one thing on checks. In fact, the former president, Donald Trump, argued this week that if Senate Republicans had gone ahead and agreed to make bigger stimulus checks, there'd be a Republican Senate and you wouldn't have lost those Georgia Senate seats. Do you agree with him?
I voted for the $600 checks that were in the bill that President Trump approved right around Christmas time. The issue is this bill that we just passed.
You don't wish they were higher at the time?
Now, well, not to the level that people are getting them now. With this bill, they're going to people in prison. They're going to people who are illegal immigrants. They're going to people who make much more money than you would expect, people that actually need relief or help at this point. So I think this is a mistake, what's happening in the bill that just has passed the Senate.
Let me talk about what could come next. President Biden is reportedly going to turn to infrastructure. There is we don't have a lot of details. And if he wants to get bipartisan support, we know there's generally bipartisan agreement for more investment in our infrastructure. What are the deal breakers you would tell him he should avoid as he puts together a proposal that attempts at bipartisan support?
Well, if he's truly interested in bipartisan support, as he said he was on the coronavirus relief, and then he ignored that, what we need to do is take a look at the bill that passed the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee on highways, infrastructure, last Congress. I was chair of that committee, worked closely with Tom Carper, the Democrat. It passed unanimously. Bernie Sanders voted for it. I talked to Mayor Pete, now Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, just the other day about it. When it passed through our committee, we then had it in the House. They threw it out, a bipartisan supported bill, and replaced it with the Green New Deal, which raises energy costs on people, puts all kinds of mandates in place, and I think it would be very bad for the economy. So if they want to work with us, take up what Bernie Sanders and John Barrasso agreed to last year in the Environment and Public Works Committee. That is the blueprint for infrastructure.
Two quick campaign-related questions for you. Number one, Lisa Murkowski, Donald Trump said he doesn't support a re-election. Do you? And Liz Cheney, do you support her re-election?
Well, a couple of things. One is President Trump has already endorsed a number of senators who are running again for re-election. That is helpful. The president's endorsement matters. In terms of Alaska, look, I want to always make sure we nominate somebody who can win in November. Lisa Murkowski knows Alaska better than anybody, and she's an incredible fighter for American energy. She hasn't made an announcement of if she's even going to run again. If she does, I'm going to support her. With regard to Liz Cheney in Wyoming, we work closely together fighting the Biden administration. I mean, this is an administration which policies on energy are devastating Wyoming and our economy, the Rocky Mountain West, but gas prices are up 60 cents a gallon already since the beginning of the year. We need to work together every day. So I support her. I disagree with her completely on the issue of impeachment. She voted one way, I voted the other.
But you do support a re-election. Okay. Senator John Barrasso, Republican from Wyoming, number 3 in the Senate, and the phrase, when Bernie Sanders and John Barrasso agree on something, I wonder if that is something that will pay some dividends down the road. Thank you for coming on and sharing your views, sir.
Thanks, Chuck.